Hello, it's me, and I was very excited to hear today that my daughter, Jessica, was interested, say hello to your fans, yes, was very interested in actually learning how to solve a 3x3. Now, you may not know this, but none of my kids really know or have expressed much interest in puzzles, which I thought was interesting, but she approached me and said, I want to learn a 3x3. So we figure, why not? We'll capture this monumental event on tape. Tape? I guess it's not tape anymore, no. So basically, to start off with, is you have to kind of understand the moves.
Wait. I have a question.
Yeah.
So since like I really want to keep a puzzle because I've never kept one.
Well, you gotta learn how to solve one before you keep one.
Well, like I know, but like I want to keep one for now.
You want to keep one?
Yeah.
You mean just play around with one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So before actually learning the moves, like R,
but
L,
like not
F.
that one.
But not this one? Oh.
Ooh, how about that one over there?
Which one?
This one.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you just want to play around with it first, kind of take care of it, and okay. Well, this is a little bit different. This kind of turns in a geary kind of a way.
Yeah.
It's a pretty stable puzzle, but you know how to be responsible, right? You got to take care of it.
Yes.
You got to feed it.
Yes.
You got to be good to it.
Yes.
You got to take it for walks.
Yes, I got this.
And you got to.
It's just a puzzle.
Well, yeah, but these are delicate pieces of equipment. All right, you just want to play with it?
I got it.
Okay. All right. Well, here, and then tell me when you want to learn.
Okay.
Bye.
Dad?
Yeah.
So, you see, you know the gear cube?
Yeah, the gear cube, right?
So, I think I was a little rough with it.
You were?
And, I didn't really feed it or anything.
Yeah?
So, it looks pretty sick.
Does it? Uh-oh.
Yeah, it looks like this.
You oh, yeah. Jessica, it does look sick. You must have been very rough with it. It's actually dead.
Oh.
You killed it. It's, it doesn't even want to move anymore.
Does it turn? Does it move?
Well, when you abuse a puzzle and you kill it, what happens when something dies?
It either becomes a ghost.
A ghost. Yeah, you were a little bit rough with it. It's now a ghost of what it once was, a ghost gear cube. So it doesn't really turn that much, but it turns in very spooky ways, like this. And in order to get it to turn in any other axis, like any ghost cube, I've got to turn it off center like this, and then turn it. But do you want to know the good news? Mm-hmm. The gear cube itself is actually a pretty simple puzzle. By doing what you did, you just created a much more difficult and fun puzzle. So, with that said, we will now go through the solve, because of Jessica's good work, of the ghost gear cube. So we're going to go through a scramble and a solve of this gear ghost cube. Brilliantly designed by Raphael. Again, it just keeps getting better and better. So when solving this, here it is alongside. It's roughly, actually almost exactly the same size as a gear cube. And as a ghost, what it is you've got a top and a bottom that turn the way you would expect a ghost or an axis version of a gear to turn. But you can't turn in these directions here. The true nature of a ghost is you have to turn it off center. The way to keep track of things is with every center you've got these little wedges that surround it. As long as I can pick the wedges, I can pick where the centers can turn. So if this is a center, this has two wedges, I have to turn this where I can get two other wedges above and below, and then I can make my full ghost turns. Now the thing about it is that this is more than just an off-centered gear cube. Because by doing it off center and causing the shape shifting, it means that center rotation is meaning. Here, center rotation didn't have any meaning. Actually, these are the same, well, they're all the same colors, but they never switch their positions. Here they do. By positions, I mean they're never like rotated out or shape shifted. Here, these do get shape shifted. As you can see, even here, this is shape shifting over here, and as I turn it here, that's also shape shifting. So in that way, this is actually a super gear cube. So it's a lot more like this, which is the gear morphings puzzle. And just like this gear version, you have different colors to your wedges, and the wedges can also shape shift, and in so doing can scramble in interesting ways. So what I suspect I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use the strategies that I came up with regarding the shape-shifting gear cubes, that if you take it out of the cube form, you end up with the shape-shifting version, the super cube form. So at its heart, there's a couple of algorithms that I've been using with that. So I'm going to see if I can work my way through this, but among the algorithms, there are those that cause, because this is really a 180-degree kind of a puzzle, so every R is a 2R, then what I do is I decided to do a lot of URF algorithms because they're all 180-degree turns. So for instance, one thing that you can do is you can swap these two. By swapping these two, you would also end up swapping these two back here, and this will come to here, this will come to here, and that's with a familiar URF algorithm. So if I were to demonstrate it with this guy, if I want to swap these, I'll go 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. And you can see that swap these two over here and also swap these two. So it's a little more than an adjacent edge swap. Now I came up with this algorithm when I had to solve the 3x4x5, and I couldn't really do anything against the bandaging. So I had to do some edge swaps, and I couldn't do 90-degree turns. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. So same thing. If I were to do that same algorithm here, that'll swap these two, but it's also going to swap these two back here, and these two are going to swap, and these two are going to swap. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. So as you can see, these two did swap. I guess more things happened too. These two swapped, and these two swapped as well. Yeah, these guys here. And then these swapped lengthwise from here to here and here to here. To get these flat back in, you just keep going 2R, 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 and it'll get that flat. So actually, my mistake, these two didn't swap, these two didn't swap. So this top part here, this meridian area here stayed the same. These two swapped and these two swapped, these and these swapped. So I may have to review my solve of this, but so that's one algorithm that's used. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. These I just keep turning until they're back in. Now, to do that with a supercube, it caused slightly different effects that I didn't realize on this. If I do the same algorithm here, and I wanted to swap these two, it will swap these two, it'll keep these the same, but it's also going to cause some center rotation, some predictable center rotation. And what that's going to do is this center and the back center will not rotate, but everything along this plane will. So this center will rotate, this center will rotate, this and this. So that's going to look like this. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. So it caused the swapping that I wanted it to do. It caused unspeakable things with the shapes of this, but we don't worry about that quite yet. But notice, this didn't change, and this didn't change, but this, and this, these four centers rotated by 90 degrees. So if I wanted to swap these two, I could do that, but I'm going to have four centers that'll rotate and two that won't. So 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. Okay, so that gets it back. When you see this, don't worry, same thing as the other puzzle, you just keep rotating until they find their way back home. Okay, now during the solve, you eventually want to get all of these rotated the right way. So there actually is another way of doing edge swaps that rotates all of them. So that just rotates 4 of them. The other one that I'm going to do will rotate all of them, and that's the classic edge swap, which is 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. These rotated and these rotated, or swapped and swapped. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Okay, if I do that same thing over here, 2R, don't finger trick this, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, you'll see nothing happened, not at all. But it swapped, it rotated all of these centers. So if I did that on a supercube, now I'm doing this so I can review this to refresh my memory. I haven't actually picked this up in a little while. This is in the front of me. So if I wanted to swap these two, I'll go 2R, well, it's not going to swap them. 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Now what's interesting is it swapped all of these. All of these got swapped, and it didn't do any swapping of these guys. It did do some rotations here, which I'm going to get back into. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Okay, but my original thought was swapping these two, or swapping these two, and rotating all of these, because the URF algorithm swapped these two, kept these the same, and rotated 4 centers. However, from time to time I'm going to have to swap 2 and rotate all the centers. So if I do these same 2, is there an algorithm to design that these are swapped and everything is rotated and everything else swaps the same way? In other words, these 2 get swapped and then these get swapped. So if I hold it here, this and this, if I hold it here, these 2 will swap, and everything on the this plane will swap. So this will swap and this will swap. These 2 will swap, these 2 will swap, and then these 2 will swap, and even on the bottom these 2 will swap. It's really the same pattern. And there is. And what it is instead of 2R, it's 4R. So 1, 2, 3, 4R, then just 2U, then 1, 2, 3, 4R, 2U. So what happened is, indeed, these 2 did swap, this and this swapped, this and this swapped, and these 2 swapped, but notice what happened. Every one of these centers rotated 90 degrees. So I had one algorithm that did a corner swap, rather an edge swap, doing the across swaps that the other one did as well. It did the same thing that the previous algorithm. So one algorithm that caused 4 centers to rotate, and this algorithm causes 6 centers to rotate. So from time to time I'm going to need that. So once again, to rotate it back, I'm going to swap these 2, then these 2 will swap, and these 2 will swap, and these 2 will swap. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4R, 2U, 1, 2, 3, 4R, 2U. Okay, so that brought that back. These, we don't worry about. Let's just get them back because that's just what we do. Then move this over here. Okay, so as I'm refreshing my memory of how to solve these super puzzles, super cubes, especially the ghost versions, the gear versions, what about when these guys are rotated? I have to rotate these. Well, that's what my 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U is going to do. It didn't move anything here, but it did rotate these. So, as I recall, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Okay? So what that did is it rotated all the centers and caused issues here. Now what this did is it rotated this out and this out, but it kept this plane exactly the same. So to move it back in, that's what I have to coordinate. I have to coordinate two things to happen during the 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. I have to coordinate the centers rotating in the right direction, and I have to correlate these guys rotating in the right direction as well. So if I hold it like this would be turned in, this would be turned out, and this would be turned in. Well, let's see what happens. So 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Okay, so here is the conundrum that we might get. All of these are turned in, but I got to coordinate these guys. If I hold it like this will get turned in, this will get turned in, and this will stay in. That was my issue. This will stay in, but these will be turned out. So everything will be solved, but all my centers will be rotated out. So what I have to do is I have to rotate it out first before doing the final move. So that means holding it here, and this will get turned out, this will get turned in, and this will stay out. And these will be rotated. So 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. Okay, so this took these centers out. These are still out, so now I can do one move to get them all back in. Holding it over here, this will be moved in, and this will stay in. Now, let's do it like this. In, stay in. And all these centers will be rotated right. 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, and there you have it. So, can I remember all of that? Those are what I need to do. So I have ways of rotating the centers while I'm rotating these edges, putting these edges in, and I have ways of rotating the centers by putting these in. The thing about a ghost puzzle is it's going to give you things that you might not have anticipated. So does this step up the challenge? We'll put these in the background because this is done in the shadow of these puzzles. Okay, so I may want to get a little bit of familiarity with the structure. This center and this center look alike, and that is the top and the bottom. So this is the one that's going to look like everything else. I'm going to get a little familiarity with the edges here. I've got one three-cornered edge. The rest are pretty much very similar in appearance. Here I've got two corner edges here, and these are just one side. Okay, so with that said, let's get into ghost position, and let's just not ruminate about it anymore. Let's just go ahead and scramble it. Now I'm going to show you the movement of the puzzle. The gear puzzles I've always been impressed with in any case regarding how they move. The movement is actually pretty limited in that there's only 3 planes that you're moving in. You know, the R move is the same as the L move. I move this, it's like moving this at the same time. So I can move it from this plane, the bottom plane, and the top plane, and the back and the front plane. So because of those limitations, we have to make sure that we get a good scramble here. If you scramble it enough, the ghost gear can be quite a challenge, I would imagine, but we're going to find that out together. I'm just going to use those rules of thumb and see if they can get me to the promised land. And that's all this here. Plus, I just wanted to show you just how good Raphael's work is. It moves as good as any mass-produced puzzle. There's none of the issues that you get with 3D printed puzzles with this. Maybe it's just because it's the gears, but it's just a very fun-moving puzzle. Okay. I think we're pretty good. Now, something I noticed right off the bat is I noticed some equivalencies. No matter what I did, I couldn't separate these two from here because I don't think you can move this away any more than you can move certain of these away from the centers, their gear portions. Plus, I noticed these two look alike, and they're never out of place. So when I'm looking for 4 that are out of place or 2, I may only find 3, and that could be kind of confusing. So right off the bat. Okay, so there you have it. Let's go ahead and see if we can work our way through it. The first step that I do with any gear puzzles, and if this ever becomes mass-produced and you want a more in-depth tutorial, what I would do is I would scramble these at the same time, but this is just to see if I can get it. I put the corners in first. And that is something of a challenge with the gear ghost because, well, where are the corners? Well, I know the centers here and here So those corners would be the easiest to put in. As I recall with this, we had not a 3-edged corner, but a 2-sided corner like this. So we like this over here, and this was next to another one over here. So these two are next to each other. And I think a flat gear goes into here. So I'm going to move this up to here. Okay. So in that way, these corners are together. This, I think the flat edge comes to here, so this is 90 degrees off. So we don't like that. I don't like that. So I'm going to move this down, like so. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to now move this in like thus. Okay, that's better because it's 90 degrees off, and I know I can flip this by 90, I'm sorry, it's 180 degrees off, and I know I can flip it by 180 degrees. Once I get these two corners, the other ones have to follow suit, and it might be these. I don't know if they'll rest flat with this, and it might be down here. If not, then all these are in. These two look like they like to be by each other. Otherwise, I'd have to move it up like this. But I don't think so. I think these corners are in, and that's not too difficult on a gear cube. So I'm going to say all these corners are in, and this center is where it needs to be, and this center is where it needs to be. It's not rotated correctly, but that's okay. The next step is I've got to make sure the edges are in. Now this one will be easy to see, easy to find. I need a flat one like this. Could it be that one? Well, is it already in this plane? Probably here. So I need to move this to here, and I can't corner swap it like so, but I know that if I do an edge swap, well, let's see. I'm going to turn this around here. Okay. Yeah, if I turn this here, I can do an edge swap to get this in. An adjacent edge swap. That's going to cause center rotation, but that's okay. I don't know if all the centers are off. I don't know if these two are off. I think that they are, but I don't know if these are off. So either they're all off or just these two are off. I really don't know right now. So let's go ahead and swap these two. It'll keep this center and this center the same. These centers are going to rotate, but I don't know if that's what I want to do or not. Otherwise, I could do an adjacent edge swap like this, which will swap all the centers. Either way you look at it, this will swap. So why don't I go ahead and I'll just do an adjacent edge swap. So that's going to be, it's a quicker algorithm anyway. And it's going to be, let's see if I remember, 1, 2, 3, 4R, 2U, 1, 2, 3, 4R, 2U. Okay, now this did rotate this and this put this in. So I can see this is nice and flat. So we're good. If this is in, this whole plane should be in, so these should be in as well. You can see it doesn't look like these are in, but they may be rotated the way they were rotated here. So if I just keep going 2R, 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 it should rotate this. Now you may ask, well, why is this in and not this? Because this has rotational equivalency, and that's what's different about this puzzle, and that's what could have been confusing. So I'm going to just go 2R, I'm going to keep doing this until that center comes back. Obviously this doesn't change at all, but this is now lined up. So we now see that this is in, and these are in. Okay, so this is in, this is in, this is also in, and this is in because it's in the same plane. So we're doing pretty well. How about these? Well, the only way to know for sure, because they don't have color to guide me, is to go ahead and keep doing an R until I bring this back, and we'll see how this rotates. So keep moving it, keep moving it, keep moving it, and no, maybe again. We have one more chance, and the answer is no. Well, no, it's got to fit perfect. This seems to fit okay, but not so much. So these two are not correct. So do I have to flip it from here or flip it from here? I'm just going to move this up and see, no, this doesn't correlate here. How about this? I move this down, and this fits. I don't think so. So I'm going to keep turning and see what does flip into here. This looks pretty good. So I'm going to say maybe this guy here. Nope, actually better here. This guy belongs here. So I'm going to follow him down without slicing my fingers. Okay, boom. So this guy belongs here. So I'm gonna have to swap these two to get this where it needs to be here. This will automatically go in where it needs to be. I have a choice. Do I do the one that rotates all the centers or the one that rotates just two of the centers? I'm gonna do the one that rotates, well, it doesn't really matter. I'll do it from here and it'll rotate all the centers. So adjacent edge swap, 1, 2, 3, 4 R, 2 U, 1, 2, 3, 4 R, 2 U. So you don't have a lot of visual cues even in the middle of it. You sort of have to take it by faith. Now let's get our bearings back. It looks like we messed everything up. And we kind of did, now that I think of it. Because when doing it this way, I actually flipped these two. So that wasn't very smart, I don't think. Let me go ahead and, well, in any case, these two should be in. Okay, I know what I can do. These should be in. Let's see if we can prove it to ourselves. So I'm going to keep going like this until they bring this back up and boom. So you see this is flat and this is flat. Now this and this got swapped. What I can do is, I don't know if these are in or not, and I don't really care yet. I'm trying to get the top edges in. If I do an adjacent swap of these two using the U or F algorithm, this won't change, but these two will swap. These two will swap, this and this will swap, and if these two are swapping, so are these, and it'll turn this back. It won't turn this center, but this center will be turned back. So that's 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. Now, let's see if it worked. Well, these are out, but they're just rotated wrong. This got this back, and this should be back here. They're all rotated wrong. So is this. It just has equivalency, but I'm not going to get confused by that. I might have tried to work it out for hours and hours as to why this one is in and these aren't. So let's go ahead and go 2R, 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 till it comes up. These are now in. Now I got to move this in, which will move this too, but we won't know, we won't care. We'll keep moving it around until the center is up and boom. So now you can see all of these are correct and this is rotated right. And because of the top is in, the bottom must also necessarily also be in. So I really solved 2 for the price of 1. Now these are not in yet, but I have to see if these centers are rotated correctly. So how am I going to deal with the middle layer? First off, if these are all in, I kind of can assume, English not so good tonight, that these are actually where they need to be. I just need to see if the centers are rotated. So I'm going to turn this until I get it into a non-ghost position where these are in and these are fitting flush. I still don't know if these wedges are in, so I'm just going to keep turning until they are in sort of a cube form. So I move it here. This looks like it's in a cube form. These not so much. So I don't think that's correct. So I'm going to keep turning it. Okay, this is in here. Aha, okay. So this is in here, this is in here. So I know all these edges must be correct. I did that because I did all the work on one side, which gave all the edges. Now, okay. So these are all in, but notice something. This center is obviously in, it's nice and flush. This center's out. These are all in and this center's out. So when I look at it, if this is the top and this is the bottom, just remember, this is my equatorial side here, the ghost side, so to speak. Everything is in, but this center is out, and this center is out. And we still have all these wedges that we have to deal with as well. So the first step is we have to get all the centers in before we deal with the wedges. So what I need to do, then, is I need to do an algorithm that coordinates all the centers together. And then I can deal with these wedges. So that's the URF algorithm. The URF algorithm will put these centers the same and take these equatorial centers out. So what I'm going to do is let's get this back into ghost position. I want all of the centers to be out so that they're all coordinated. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to swap them. When I swap them, these will still be out and the rest of these centers along this equatorial side over here is going to be rotated out. Then I'm going to do a swap this way, which will then rotate all the centers back in. So one swapping will just change 4 centers, another swapping, the same swapping, which will have the same effects all around the puzzle, should put all the centers back in. So let's go ahead and do a your eft. I'll take a little chance here. To U, to R, to F, to U, to F, to R, to U, to F. Okay, now I don't want to wander too far around the puzzle because it's going to be easy to get lost. But suffice it to say, I know that these centers were turned. You can sort of see that they're all rotated wrong. These were swapped. Cool. So I know that this and this were also swapped. So now if I hold it here, these will swap back. This and this will swap. This and this will swap. So these two will swap and these two will swap along this equatorial plane. So I'll swap this back and all the centers now are going to go in the same direction. So making use of 2 algorithms that do the same swapping but different effects on the center so that I can get them coordinated. And that's going to be, okay, so these are going to be swapped. So this is going to be in front of me and this is going to be my top center. That's going to be, I hope I got it coordinated right. I'll soon find out. Even if I'm right, the edges could be sort of shapeshifted. So it's going to be hard to tell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, R, 2, U, 1, 2, 3, 4, R, 2, U. And that's all I should need to do. So let's get ourselves quickly reoriented. This is now rotated right, but this is out, this is out, this is out. This is actually out too. And once again, I'm not going to let that confuse me because of this equivalency of rotation. So I'm going to keep rotating it until this is in. So rotate it until the center comes back up. It's back up. Notice this didn't change, but this is now in. Same thing with this. Turn, turn, turn. Keep rotating it up. Now this is in, and you can see we're good over here. Now here's what's interesting. These wedges are all in. I've got 3 in and 1 out. We didn't see that here, but I know there must be some equivalency somewhere. And I know that it's going to be this. So this probably just doesn't shapeshift. So I think both of these are out. And I also know this because this entire side has to be out and these are out as well. So the ghost tried to fool me, but we all understand equivalencies. Now the whole key with this is to make sure this equatorial layer, the edges are in and the centers are now rotated. So let's go ahead and rotate this into cube position so I can find out if we're good. You got to keep, and aha, so good, good. You notice that all the centers and edges are now lined up. So what we have is we have everything in except for these wedges. So this is now going to be our final hurdle. So here's the thing. All the centers are in. If I put all the wedges in, all the centers are going to be out. So I can see myself in a situation where everything is in except all the centers are rotated. So I actually have to do a maneuver that doesn't put them all in yet. So this is in. I'm going to say all of these are out, despite the fact that these are in this plane. If I turn this over here, I would see, well, if I come down here, that's good enough because it's a ghost at this point. This is out. So where are 4 of them out? This is out and this is out. This is also going to be out. So if I move it here, well, this is in. We don't like that. Out, out. This guy is out too. So if I move this all the way over here, aha, I like this because both of these are out. So I know all these 4 are out. And I know this is out here. So if I do my algorithm from this standpoint, with this on top, and I do the 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, this will go in, this will go in, and now this should be in, and it is. However, I don't want to do that. Instead, I'm going to go over to here, and this will be taken out, this will be taken out, and this, which is already out, will stay out. The only purpose for doing this is so that I can set it up for the final move that'll rotate it in. This is just to rotate all my centers out. So, holding it here, we're going to go 2R, to U, to R, to U, to R, to U. Now we have to take it on faith almost that that didn't cause anything other than center rotation. And as you can see, everything is still in, everything is still good, everything is still good here, just all these centers are now rotated. So now this whole thing is in, this is out. So where do I have 4 that are out? I believe all 4 are out over here. So one more algorithm, this will be put all in, this plane will be put all in, and now all of this should be in, and is it? Well, in, yes, in. Okay, so one more of that algorithm should solve this puzzle, unless I'm very much mistaken. So once again, this is front side, this is top side, get a little nervous. And let's see what happens. This will be in, and this, which is already in, will stay in. Now this looked in even if the whole plane was out. So I couldn't rely on this. That would have been confusing. So 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U. So in that way, you can see this whole top side is good. This whole bottom side is good, and unless something really bizarre happened, I'm going to turn this around until, haha, done. So this is all in. So there it is. So there you have it, the ghost gear cube solved exactly like this gear morphings puzzle. The only difference is it took it up a notch because you've got some equivalencies. You got rotational equivalencies with this piece over here, and you also had rotational equivalencies with these pieces over here. So it was going to fool you if you're relying upon the strategy of the right interplay between these pieces over here. So that could have been a lot harder if I didn't realize or recognize that that was the case. But I hope from what you can see, this is a very smooth moving puzzle. Nice challenge. If you like the gears, if you like the gears that have specificity rotation, then this is definitely a puzzle for you. Really should be mass produced at some time, but I really can't wait to see what other great stuff Raphael has coming out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've just kind of thrown it up in the air a few times. Now do one where, there you go. Hold on. Okay. All right. Go
Will I break it?
No, you won't break it.
Ready?
Yeah. So really has to goes off camera, and then I'll have some. Good, perfect.
Now what do I do?